Hey guys, what is going on? Back here for another gamer review, and Mr. Garrison, my little boo-boo, is back here with me once again, and to say that we've been looking forward to this game is a bit of an understatement. Gary, you know why we're here. We're here to review the next installment of the Dark Pictures anthology, and that is Little Hope. So, Gary, if you may, without, of course, giving any spoilers, do a very brief description of what is going on in Little Hope.
A lot of shit.
To say the least, yeah.
That's literally what's going on in Little Hope. I can't even go into details explaining properly what's going on, because the thing is that what was said about the game is that folks are saying that it's intense, it's suspenseful, and there's a lot of scares that happens. So that is, to me, that is like understatements that you can say at what happens, but the main thing to really sum it up is there's a lot of shit that goes on. I mean, a lot.
I will say this much. So it basically follows a cast of 5 characters. One of them is Will Poulter. If I were to give essentially the first 5 minutes, essentially a bus driver at the beginning is told to go into this town called Little Hope because this road that they're supposed to go to is blocked off. However, after a bus crash, they find themselves stuck in this town that was essentially connected to a very famous witch trials that happened ages ago. Let me just say this connects to, let's just say, some personal things that have happened in all the characters' lives. That's all I'm gonna say. Before Gary and I started playing this game, we didn't know a damn thing about it. I think we only saw a bit of teases in Man of Medan, but otherwise that's it.
Here's one thing. I'm just gonna get this out of my system real quick for what happens in terms of, ideal concepts. If there's one thing that you hardly see, not just in video games but movies as well, the one entire concept that you hardly see in horror alone is the butterfly effect.
Yes, I agree with that completely.
Butterfly effect is basically something that is extremely rare, extremely scarce, and just something that is not really focused on at all. And I really think the producers of this game wanted to take that butterfly effect and adapt it into this particular one, giving you all a bit of an idea. Not just that, but taking a mixture of reincarnation as well.
Until Dawn uses this as well. The butterfly effect, it does use this.
It does, but I think this game did it a little better.
I can agree. Now, one thing that we could both agree on when it comes to this game, Gary, we're starting off with our positives. This game, now, we both thought that Man of Medan was a solid, fun horror game.
It is, but we both know that game was a little cheesy as well.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Speaking of the dialogue and voice acting, this one was a lot better.
Oh my god, dude. There was not a single performance that I hated.
Okay, the only performance that I can say I didn't like was Taylor. I wasn't a fan of her at first.
Yeah, I was about to say, at first, like, now, if you guys have seen Gary and I stream that we did on Halloween, which, by the way, thank you all so much for those of you who did come by our stream. We had a ton of fun playing. We both agreed completely that Taylor was a character we didn't like at first, but the more that the game went along, we grew to actually like all these characters. We didn't want any of them to die, which is not the same that we can say about Man of Medan.
Because here's the thing, though, with these particular characters, that in Man of Medan, you got characters that you just don't want around anymore.
Oh, God, yeah.
But this one, though, even though some of them will start off as freaking ridiculous, but as the game progresses, you start to understand their past and how it connects to their personal present times right now.
Correct.
And how you see that connection correlate within the game, you start to naturally grow a care for them. But I'm not just saying you grow right away. This is a developmental
It
care.
is. It's very much a thing that the more that you keep playing it, you'll either really, really care for these characters, or it's like, okay, this is probably a fun horror game, even though, one thing I will say is this, you were talking about how, like, the scares weren't there. I do think the scares weren't quite as there as they were of then again, Man of Medan was full of a bunch of jump scares, but it got a lot more spooky later on. In terms of this one, the tension got higher as the game went along more than anything else.
Yeah, there was a lot of tension, and is there jump scares in this game? Yes, it is,
yeah.
And there is a few times to where it'll fucking get you pretty good.
Oh, yes.
Believe me, I know.
It happened a couple of times on our stream, dude.
Don't ever fuck with voodoo dolls.
Nope. Whoa. Jesus. Yup.
You fucking little bitch!
That got me too. Are you ready to continue?
Give me a moment, dude. Catch my breath.
Don't worry, I will.
Oh.
That was a good moment. That was a good scare.
Oh, that wasn't funny. Yeah, it happened pretty bad, but at the same time, though, it's not much more of a scare type game. It's more of the factor of the tension and suspense.
And
That's what
atmosphere as
makes it
well.
the atmospheric, fitting in the mood of what the game is doing. Also, apparitions as well.
Oh god. Now, all of us that have seen the little teaser of this game know that this was inspired by the Salem witch trials. How this game incorporates that, I thought was, to say the least, fucking brilliant.
Because if you all know the story of the Salem witch trials, which there's a lot of detail to
Oh,
it, this
tons.
game technically incorporated that in the best way possible,
They
giving
did.
you really dark, creepy, and honestly terrifying visuals.
And there were so many moments where, again, it wasn't that Gary and I were terrified. We just wanted to be like, what do we do in this moment?
Well, yeah, there was a lot of moments. Okay, because the thing is that what was said before is that they level up the decision making.
Yes, absolutely.
That was leveled up a lot, because the thing is that you are given these decisions, whether if you have to do something physical or a thought or whatever.
Mhm.
Because the thing is that with the fucking tension that's rising, especially the predicament that you were in,
Mhm.
you don't know what the fuck to do, because it's giving
Yeah.
you two choices, but you're just trying to figure out, okay, what is the best one? Because you got two choices throughout the game. I always say you choose the most logical one.
I agree.
There are times to where you got two ones that do logically come off proper, but the problem is that which is the proper one, though, because that's where the decision making is really difficult to make.
And not to mention, one of my favorite aspects about the game is how it does incorporate the themes of paranoia, greed, corruption, and also, without spoiling anything, trauma.
Better yet, demons.
Also, speaking of the acting, I gotta say, not only was the present acting brilliant, but the acting within the trials, dude, I believed every single line of delivery that was said.
The thing that I couldn't believe is that I'm assuming they were all Irish. Well, whatever it was, the accents that they portrayed during the Salem witch trial sequences, I thought the accents were just spot on. Because the thing is that the way that the voice actors were portraying these characters, just in those sequences alone, you can tell that you wanted to believe into what's going on.
Yeah. Gary and I mentioned that we did have fun with Man of Medan. Little hope it felt like they actually put a lot more time in crafting to make this like the best experience they could have possibly made it.
Yeah, there was a lot going on to this game. Like this one felt much more, I wouldn't say heartfelt, but a lot more care put into this particular game.
Way more. Animation and the graphics are so much better here than they were in Man of Medan. So much better.
They were a lot better. Now, in terms of another thing that I really like that I'm going to focus on, that they gave you much more of an interacting experience with the curator.
So, the curator in this game, speaking of which, I want to talk about something, and I know you probably want to mention it. I liked how now, in the first game, they do go a little bit into the decisions you make. They actually go way more into detail, like, because if a lot of you are asking if you need to play Man of Medan first, you don't have to.
The curator goes into a lot more detail, giving you some explanations, and also you get much more of an interaction in terms of where the curator is really going into a much more in-depth detail what's going on in the story.
Yeah.
And it gives you a lot more in-depth detail decisions. And also, now in the first one, though, you didn't have that atmospheric scenery.
No.
No, you got the curator. Instead of sitting at his desk, he's moving around. He's going to different areas. He's basically giving you much more of an atmospheric area. And plus, if you listen carefully to the score that's playing every time the curator is, there was no music in Man of Medan. This one, though, has like a very haunting yet calming sound of music.
What they do with Little Hope easily encapsulates what they did with Man of Medan. Little Hope is, I think we can both agree, is miles better than Man of Medan. Miles better.
With everything that was put in terms of its story, its intents, the terrors, the atmosphere, the scares, the imagery. I'm actually gonna even say score. The whole entire concepts that was used and putting that into a nice factor, giving you that idea. A lot of things in this game that was a massive improvement over that was just.
Oh yeah. One more thing I will mention this without getting into spoilers. The ending of the game is a mind fuck. That's all I'm gonna say. I haven't stopped thinking about not only the ending, but this entire game ever since we played it, and I know we're gonna play it again. That's for a damn certain.
Yes, we are going to play it again sooner or later, because the thing is that here's the ending though, and now I'm not saying the ending's confusing, because it isn't.
Yeah.
It's one of those endings to where it's making you want to realize what the hell's going on, and
Correct.
you're getting a lot of ideas of what is transpiring. It's not one of those endings to where it's making you fucking think just for the sake of it.
No.
This is one of those endings to where it's making you legitimately want to put the pieces together of what it is that is transpiring, what is happening, and why the Salem witch trials were a main connection to everything that transpires, why these elements that were happening, why
Correct.
these particular theories were happening.
It's definitely a game that I feel like the more you play, the more pieces that you'll pick up. You'll notice even more things, because I still feel like that even though I got quite a bit from our first playthrough, I still feel like that if I play it a second or even a third time, I'll even pick up on even more little details. Now I want to move on to our negatives, if I may. So one of my negatives, besides the character of Taylor being kind of annoying at first, I feel like it did take a bit to get going at first. Another thing is, I will say, is this: the ending itself is a bit confusing at first. You'll just be thinking, huh? In terms of scares, there were some jump scares that just didn't work at all, honestly. Like, there were a couple of them when they came on, I was just like, oh, okay, that's just there, yeah. Tension was there for this game, but in terms of the actual scares and the spooks itself, it wasn't quite there. But, I mean, other than that, though, I mean, that's all I can really think about.
So, other than that, though, in terms of negatives, I really don't have really that many negatives, but I'm not saying the game's a 10 out of 10.
No, it's not 10 out of 10, no.
But it is a great game. It's a fun game. Definitely needs a little bit more time in terms of really figuring out what it is that's transpiring, and a little bit more playthrough to really fully get the grasp of what the situation is handling, especially the ending.
I can see that.
So, in terms of rating, I actually give this game a solid 8 out of 10.
Okay, alright. I'd actually give this game an 8.5 out of 10. Little Hope is a great game if you're looking for just a fun horror game to play, because the game you can play with up to 5 people. If you want to play a really fun, tension-filled horror game with a great story, definitely pick this one up, guys. We do highly recommend this game easily.
Yeah, this game is definitely worth watching. Worth playing. Definitely play Man of Men first, get an idea of what it is. Then once you're done with that, play into this.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more reviews just like this one, or comment on us below. Out of all 3 games, Until Dawn, Man Banana, or Little Hope, which one is your favorite? Let us know below. If you guys want to follow any of us on social media, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I am on Twitch. I don't know if Gary's on Twitch, but I'm also on Snapchat and Stardust. So if you guys want to follow all those social media platforms, all the links in the description below. But Gary, where can they find you? Us cuddling in the electric blanket?
On the toilet as well.
That too. I hope you guys enjoyed our review of the Dark Pictures Anthology Little Hope. If so, push hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever the latest video of ours goes live. If you guys want to see any of our previous 2 video game reviews, or even our latest live stream, should I say, please click the left or right side of the video, and of course, until our next review, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night, guys, or a good day.
Mary.
Come now, Mary. Mary?
Mary saw me in the woods a day or so back.